What's up, guys? You that are here a little early, we are coming on a little early. We don't like to come. Now, if we go in and out, the service has been really bad, especially lately due to everybody being home. Everybody using. I'm already losing some people here. So I don't know if you guys are going in and out. Am I going in and out or what? Can you hear me?
It's good right now.
Anybody?
You're good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I got to turn off all my devices here. So turn off this device. Sometimes I've just been getting very, like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you, but you're frozen right now.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's bad. Can't hear nothing. Oh, guys. Oh. You can hear me, but this is not going to be good.
You can't hear us?
All right. Right now it's going in and out again already. How is it now?
You're good now for me.
Yeah, it keeps going in and out. I don't know if it's going to be this is going to be the entire show or not, but we'll try to fight through it. Okay. If you guys know, we are doing an ultimate survivor bracket on my Twitter page to find out who the ultimate survivor is. Doesn't have to be the sole survivor. Doesn't have to be the most strategic. Doesn't have to be the most physical. It could literally be who your favorite survivor is. It's the ultimate survivor according to everyone's opinion, whatever that opinion may be. And we're going to go ahead and start from the top and talk about if we had any spoilers or if you guys thought that somebody got a bad draw. Of course, right off the bat, we get a bad draw with Poverty and Jonathan. I think that was a bad draw for Jonathan. I think he could have went at least to the next round, but not against Poverty. So in the first round of, what was it, 8? What did you guys think about the matchups and what happened?
You talking like the whole first round? Or are we starting?
Just with Poverty, my first set of
okay,
which would be Poverty, Jonathan, Michelle, Brian, and Down.
Yeah, so I think the most interesting one was Dom versus Earl. So it seems like, and I know that I mentioned that in brackets like this, there's always a close 5-12 game matchup, and it looked like that Earl definitely had a lot more support than we would have anticipated, and it looked like he was going to pull off an upset, but Dom had a late push and ended up pulling it out.
You guys have the percentages and the numbers, like how many people voted?
I got it right here.
Okay.
So
what was that one? Because I was a little shocked that Dom didn't run away with that one, to tell you the truth.
So there was 2,843 votes, and then Dom took it 51 to 49%.
All right.
Yeah.
Because it was 50-50 for a while. They were running head to head. And then I kept retweeting it because I didn't want the problem of 50-50. So I kept retweeting and putting it out there so more and more people would see it. But that one was a little shocker to me that Earl was even close to Dom.
Yeah, it's entirely different games basically, and old school versus new school. But people, some of the old school players have a ton of following, ton of support. So I was surprised also though.
Yeah. So we have Michelle and Brian. One of y'all, whoever said Brian, I said he's going to be getting eaten up in this because of his legal problems. I'm not going to go into that, but I knew he wouldn't have a shot against Michelle. Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead and talk about the next round as we're talking about this, breaking it down as we're going down the list. So we have Michelle and Parvati next. Do you think Michelle has a shot?
I mean, it's tough because Michelle's still in the game and Parvati's on edge of extinction, so people might give Michelle the edge for that. But I feel like you have to look at Parvati's record, and especially the fact that she's played 3 times, Michelle played twice, and Parvati's known for making bigger, flashier moves than Michelle. I think the fans like seeing that. I mean, Russell, you said it's who you want to vote for, like who's your favorite, essentially. Like it's not like the best social player, best strategist. It's who you like, and I think people like Parvati's flashy game style over Michelle's. So I could see a Parvati win most likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle, being still in the game, gets her a couple votes.
Right. I don't know if it's gonna be close.
You don't think
I would like to see it be super close, but I just don't think it's gonna be close. I think Parvati's loved by too many people. Even though Michelle is getting okay at it, other than the window thing, I think that Parvati's going to walk the dog on a lot of them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think the only way that Michelle stands a chance in this one is if, I guess tomorrow's the episode, if tomorrow she makes some kind of an enormous move and blindsides somebody, that's the only way that I think she stands a chance with the recency bias.
That could happen too. If that would happen, then it could change this whole bracket, how people vote on Michelle and Park, because we're gonna release it tomorrow, but the poll won't be over until the following day, so they'll have time to go on there and vote whoever they want. So we have. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask you what do you think of Michelle's position in the game right now?
I think she had her shot to. She said she wanted to go out there and play the game. And she had her shot to play the game by getting rid of somebody she kept saying she didn't like, and kept saying, oh, he burnt me, and kept saying negative things about Wendell. People say, oh, they must have had a secret thing on the side. If they did, then she sure wasn't telling us about it. She was only making herself look bad by saying, oh, he burnt me and he did this to me, and I'm not going to let him walk on me out here, and then still vote with him. So I think that was bad for Michelle. So at this point, she's having an even worse game than her first season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was in a great spot until and she's kind of kept battling back from the bottom, and we'll see if she could do it one more time because she's in huge trouble right now.
All right. Well, I don't know if she's in trouble. I just think that we see her not doing what she said she was going to do. She sat there and talked to Rob about, hey, I'm going to do something this time. People think that my win wasn't legitimate. So we were all waiting for, okay, let's see that happen. Let's watch her do it. And it just didn't happen. It's not happening at this point.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Russell. I think that even though Michelle was left out of the vote, I think she can blend back into the background. I think if anybody's going to be hurting from this vote out, it's going to be Nick. Nick was on the wrong side of the vote, and I think Nick was seen, there was that confessional about him always popping into confessionals and popping into conversations, which isn't looked at too favorably. I think that Michelle can do a better job at integrating with new people. Maybe Sarah or Sophie can pull her in. Maybe she can go to Jeremy again like they did at the original tribe, but I think Nick's going to be suffering more from this vote out.
Right. Yeah. So we had a number 4 versus a number 13, Natalie and Danny. Did you see Danny having a shot at this one? Any of y'all?
No.
I didn't think Danny would have a shot, but I think I'm a little bit like Natalie has got a ton of support, and like people were just like commenting, like, and I saw a lot of the people were like filling out the entire bracket and submitting it back and tweeting it back, and I was retweeting everything, and I like a lot of people have Natalie going really far in the bracket, so I'm curious to see how far she could go.
So what was how many votes did they get?
It was 2,836 votes, and Natalie took it 85-15 in terms of percentage.
In this first round, who had the most votes?
Most votes? Well, Parvati and Penner had 3,733 on theirs.
Okay.
You and Jenna had 3,842.
Okay, so we had the most so far.
in terms of that quadrant, you guys were the most.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that, and we're next up. Now, before we talk about that, we'll talk about that matchup. It's going to be a 5 and a 4. Dominic is the 5th seed. Natalie is the 4th seed. Man, is Dominic going to take out a winner on this one?
What do you think, Hef?
I can't see it happening, honestly. As a fan, I would be pulling for Dom on this one because I just thought he played a really entertaining season, really no lapses other than the fact that he ended up losing the tie-breaking vote. But, I mean, that being said, I think it's going to be really tough for somebody to beat the following that Natalie has between her just all-out complete game that she played in her winning season where she was just a beast all around, and she's getting a pretty favorable edit this season. So I think the recency bias.
You think Natalie is going to win this one?
I think Natalie will win, but as a fan, and I will be voting, I'm pushing for Dom.
Right. Now, I want to let you guys know, you that are in here right now, stay in here because we're going to do a little, I'm going to call Coach on the phone, and we really don't get along that well. So he even told me once that I'm never going to do the show. Like, I'll do it one time with you, and he did a show with me about legends, and he was like, that's it. Please don't ask me again. I'm just not interested in doing podcasts now and shows. But I'm going to call him live. So if you leave, you miss that. and I just texted him, by the way, and he said, I said, what are you doing? I need to talk to you. He don't know what I want to talk to him about, so he will answer. He was like, oh, something might be happening. So he said, give me 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, we'll be calling Coach and prank calling him. So I'm going to tell him, I just posted a video on my Twitter of Yanni playing. I don't know if y'all know Yanni, but he's amazing. And it is Coach. And I close my eyes. Let me get it. I should have had this ready. It's Coach.
Oh, Coach.
There you go. He's into this music. Get it, Coach.
I said it looks like a combination of Ozzy and Coach.
I gotta stop that because we're probably gonna get that. Probably YouTube's not gonna like that. So anyway, yeah, we have Coach there. Coach is now playing classical music, and hope he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we have next in line. We have me and Jenna. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about me in this bracket. Now I'm a fair guy. Everybody knows it. I'm the kind of guy that I talk about people when they quit. I talk about Survivor when all of a sudden I see Boston Rob walk up in his regular gear, and then I see him on EOE with a hoodie. Well, I made a phone call to the casting, head of casting, and I was like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Because I don't like that. I don't like what I see. People go out there with what they have on their back, and that's what I want to see. I don't like when I see something different. And I will do a podcast and YouTube video on this if the game starts changing like that. Because it's changed like that. It's not Survivor in other countries. Other countries, you get 5 pieces of wardrobe. You get a hoodie, you get insulated underwear, you get 5 different things, a jacket, like whatever you want, 5 different pieces of wardrobe. Now, we don't do that in American Survivor, and I didn't want that to happen, so I made a phone call. And they legitimately, what they told me made everything make sense. They said, well, we're worried about Ethan, and we couldn't set him out there like that without anything. It's super code. He just had, not too long ago, he had chemo, and his body may not have been able to take something like that. So I was like, oh, well, kind of stuck my foot in my mouth at that point. And like, okay, well, I understand that. And I'm okay with that. And I agree with that. Let's just not keep doing stuff like that, because we want to see him suffer. You guys, as fans of the show, isn't it fun when you see Sophie there doing all that and crying? I mean, it's like then you start realizing how real the game really is. Now, yes, a hoodie or something like that, a Russell Hands hoodie over there. when it gets soaking wet, it does no good anyway. So if it's pouring down raining, you're not in some kind of shelter that's not leaking. It gets wet. And once it gets wet, it takes forever to dry. So there is a negative and positive, but I'm okay with the extra clothes for Ethan. And they said we couldn't just give it to Ethan. We had to, it's just not fair. I'm okay with that. We'll move on and talk about what I wanted to talk about, me and Jenna. Now, this is my page. And I know some of you don't want me to do this. And I got a lot of comments saying don't do this. But I'm going to graciously step out of this because as it started happening, I started realizing that more people are voting, and it shows in any category of anybody, I got more votes than anybody. So that shows you that they're voting because it's my page. And I don't think it's fair to the other members who the cast that we're trying to. Now, I think I'd be in the Final Four. I think I have a shot of winning it if I went through with it. And then once I did, it just wouldn't look fair. Russell's page, oh yeah, of course, Russell's in the Final Four. Of course, Russell won. Let's say I win it. It wouldn't be right if I win it because it's on my page, and I have over 54,000 fans on my page. So I didn't want, I just thought I didn't think it was right. Coach was saying some things how he didn't think it was fair that he gets to go against me next because I would have whipped him for sure on any poll and anywhere around the world. But I just wanted to make it fair for the ones, and I love to keep it going. I love to keep my name in it, and I think it's just the best thing for me to do is to step away and let these guys fight. So I'm up against Coach next, which it would be Jenna up against Coach next. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Jenna up against Coach and let them fight it out.
Okay. I think if we're going to analyze the Jenna and Coach matchup, I think, Jenna's a winner, so she'll get credit for that. But, if you look at her season, some people might say Rob C should have won Amazon, so that'll be a few points against her there. And I think, like you said, Russell, we're voting for who you want to see get to the end in terms of who's your favorite survivor. And I think Coach had one of the best redemption arcs in all of, reality TV, like you mentioned last time we were on, just because he changed his game a lot from Tocantins, the heroes versus villains, to South Pacific, and he played a really dominant game. So I could see Coach taking this one over a winner.
Now, I don't, when Coach comes on the line, he gets a tone with me sometimes and we argue. So that may happen when I call him, and that's fine. But before he gets on here, I'll give him a little bit of respect on Coach is probably the biggest character in the history of Survivor. The Dragon Slayer, that whole thing. That's why I'm like, when I close my eyes, I see him doing like something that, with the cape on, and he looks like a real Dragon Slayer. Like almost the wizard of the Dragon Slayers, not the knight or anything like that. What you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think Coach is going to take it also. Like Ryan said, he's one of the most likable players and most popular players on the show ever. He handled Andrea pretty well in round one, and I think he'll take it even though Jenna did win. I think that, Coach, you could easily make an argument that he should have beat Sophie in South Pacific. So I think it's definitely, I would say Coach is probably going to win.
All right. And we have a comment here that makes sense. They said, I didn't beat Jenna as convincingly. And I didn't actually. I thought that I would kill her because it's my page, but still, if it just happened to be me in the final two, it just wouldn't. Now, if Rob was retweeting things and everybody retweeting it, we having a lot of survivors get involved in it, but they're not really retweeting it. They're just talking about it. If they were retweeting it, then it would make it to where their fans are seeing it and stuff like that. And then I would be like, okay, we can roll with this. That's not what's happening. I just don't think. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. Like, I think that if a third party were to do this, you would, like, in my opinion, I think you would make it to the Final Four probably. But I think it could leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth if you were to make it in the finals, because at the end of the day, it is your following. You're putting this out, so everybody's choosing to follow you because they like you already. So I think that there is a bit of an advantage, but I agree.
Yeah, it's just I'm worried about being in the Final Four, and then all of a sudden I'm in the Final Two, and if that does happen, if I am in the Final Two, because all I have to beat is Parvati. I beat Parvati, and I have a shot to beat Parvati, and then all of a sudden I'm in the Final Two with Rob probably on the other side. So, and it just wouldn't, I think that I have a strong shot in beating Parvati. And then, and that puts me right there. That puts me in the Final Four. It would be me against Sandra if she would win. I don't think she's going to win. I don't think she's going to get to the Final Four, actually. Okay, we'll keep moving on, so we'll get to that. Now we have Chrissy and Tina. What was that score? And I think Tina took that. I was kind of shocked that she took it as well as she did.
Yeah, so Tina, there was in the poll between Tina and Chrissy, there was 2,604 votes. Tina beat Chrissy 72-28 in terms of percentages. I think I was rethinking this one back, and I was like, because a lot of people are commenting and they're like, why is Tina this low? And obviously, a ton of people voted for Tina. Tina was a winner in this game in the end. And in 27, people forget, but in 27, she did make it to the final 5, I believe it was, in the season that Tyson won Bloodwater. She's played twice and she won and she came in 5th. So I think that Tina is we probably did underseed Tina a little bit, and we probably overseeded Chrissy a bit as well.
Right. Yeah, and that's okay, because once they'll have, if we underseeded or overseeded, it's okay, because this round, we're going to see a lot. Like Dominic.
Did he freeze?
Yeah, he's frozen. We'll see if it comes back.
I guess while he's frozen, Ryan, what do you think about that matchup?
No, I totally agree. I think that Dylan has a point that Tina probably was a little underseeded because she did, again, she won Australia. She did really well in Blood versus Water. She came in 4th, actually. And I think that if she makes it to the end, she wins again. She wins the second time because she has her daughter in the jury. She has Aris and Vitas and Caleb. So I think we probably did underseed Tina. But like Russell said, it's going to really show this round if Tina could have been placed higher.
Right. Another one we have here, and we're going to go through them pretty quick, is Rob and Kim. Rob C. Now, I thought Rob made.
Bob Crowley, maybe?
Rob C and Kim, right? Rob C?
Dylan, was it Bob Crowley against Kim?
Kim beat
Bob.
Kim beat Bob.
Okay, I'm looking at it as, I need glasses, I guess. The B went to an R.
Kim plays against Tina next round. So Tina will have a huge test against Kim. So we'll see we'll see how much her following comes through.
Yeah, and she beat Chrissy pretty good. So that's a number 10 seed. Tina was number 10 against a number 2 seed. So that would be a upset right there. But Tina can take out Kim, and Kim is losing a little bit by the way she's playing, I think.
It's a little disappointing to see her playing this way right now. She's coming off such a dominant win in her first season, and now she is taking not only more of a passive approach, but she really seems to be at the bottom, kind of a meaningless player. So, yeah, she's definitely having a bad edit, to say the least.
Right.
More like a non-existent edit, honestly. She was showing. Yeah. I think she said maybe like one thing last week, and that was it.
Yeah, I think it's tough because if you're not part of the main storyline, like the main storyline was, the Michelle and Wendell conflict, and then, the big guys getting together. I think if you're not part of the main storyline and you're not making a flashy move, you're not going to get seen. So I kind of agree, but disagree, Jordan. I feel like she's not playing a bad game. She's actually, for her big name threats, she's pretty under the radar. So it's not exciting to watch, but I think she's still positioned in a decent spot. I don't think Kim's going to go anywhere soon.
Yeah. Do y'all think that Tina has a shot against Kim? Anybody here that thinks that's going to be an upset, or do you think Kim's going to take it?
I think Kim takes it, honestly.
Yeah,
I actually think that
go for it.
I actually think that Kim will get voted out this episode So Ryan, I disagree with you there, and I think that if she does get voted out, since seeing the following that Tina had, I think that Tina could take it.
If Kim gets voted out this episode, that's going to be bad for Kim.
Yeah.
Why do you think?
Everybody's like, oh, get it together. You know, Kim's going to get it together sooner or later, right? If she gets voted out, man, I lost all game respect for Kim.
Why do you think Kim's in trouble, Jordan?
I don't think she really has an in with any alliance. I don't think she's that tight with anybody, really. And at the end of the day, she's still seen as a big threat. She's one of those big names that you think about, and she will always have that target on her back. So I can see a little shakeup happening and her being left on the wrong side of the vote.
But I think she's in good with Kim, and I think she's in good with Jeremy and Denise. No, aren't they in good with her?
I think right now probably because they did come from the call. So, but I think that another thing is I think that Kim is low key trying to play a Tony type game this season, where Tony's kind of fallen back. He's not really being seen as a threat, although he's a huge threat coming in. The thing is that I like you said, Jordan, I don't think Kim has the relationships Tony does right now. I mean, at least it's not being shown if she does. So that's why I think I would give Tony like a big edge over her. But I think that she's trying to play that Tony type game. I'm just not sure how well it's working.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to the next side of the bracket that I posted. This was day 2. I posted this bracket. It's number 1 against number 16, Sandra against Colby.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
This is just like Parvati and Penner. This is a tough matchup for Colby. I know Colby is an old school fan favorite. I mean, people were naming their kids after Colby. He's a big name, but I feel like when you're going up against a 2-time winner in the first round, unless you have a better track record than Colby does, it's going to be very hard to win that matchup.
Right. And what was the percentages on that one?
It was, there was 2,962 votes, and it was 70-30. Sandra won.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't as much as the other 1 seeds. A lot of the other 1 seeds, and we'll talk about this later, but Tony really dominated. Tony won like 95-5. I know we'll talk about that later, but
against who?
Chris Underwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
No surprise there.
Yeah. All right, and now we have number 8 Malcolm against number 9 Spencer. I was a little shocked on this one because I thought Spencer would give it a little bit more fight.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I thought this was going to be, if you had to choose one and say which one's going to be the 51-49, I probably would have chose this one because this was like my favorite matchup of the whole first round, and Malcolm ended up winning start to finish pretty handedly, 62-38 out of 2,625 votes. So, and I think Malcolm is extremely popular, and I actually think that it's a very, very tough draw for Sandra in the next round.
Really?
Yeah,
I think so.
Do you think Spencer could have beat Sandra?
No, I don't necessarily think Malcolm is going to win, but I think it's going to be like close for a 1-8 matchup.
Well, I think if Sandra wins this round, she has a super tough one in the next round. If she wins, because next round, we're getting a little ahead of myself, but JT and Sari is fighting for the next round. Sari's probably going to take that. This will be Sandra against Sari. That's a good matchup.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that because I think Sari would take it. But I think the reason why Malcolm won over Spencer, I think, is 2 reasons. Even though I love Spencer, I think Spencer's a great player, and he's obviously also a fan favorite. I think it's because Malcolm played more recently than Spencer has. We haven't seen Spencer since 31. And also, Malcolm's more active on Twitter and social media. Spencer really doesn't post a lot, or he's not as active in the community. Malcolm's always talking about Denise, or always posting about the episode, or giving power rankings with Gordon Holmes. So I think that's one of the big reasons why Malcolm took it.
You see, Malcolm, to me, if I was going to vote, I did vote. I voted for Spencer. So I like Spencer better. I like his gameplay better. When it comes to Survivor, I think Spencer's a much better player than Malcolm is when it comes to the game of Survivor.
I was actually rewatching some of 28 this week, his first season, and he was stuck on arguably the worst tribe of like all time at the very beginning, the Green Tribe in that season, and he fought his way back, and he played a really, really good game.
I thought he should have won his season. I thought he should have won. I was like, the guy should win this season, but it didn't happen. Yeah. So we have that's really an interesting one though, Malcolm and Spencer, when you look at it, because those are really two popular players. But Malcolm's he's super popular. So
yeah.
Okay, so next we have the 5th seed, and I see some of you wondering where this bracket is. It's on the Russell Hantz Twitter page and what is our Soul
Survivor podcast Twitter.
Soul Survivor podcast Twitter page. It's on those pages. You go check it out. You can vote in the next round. So 5 seed against 12 seed. JT against Laura M. My favorite person in the world. And JT takes it. How bad does JT take that?
So there was 2,675 votes, and it was 85-15.
Does JT beat Spencer?
Would JT beat Spencer?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he would. So I wasn't really sure how JT would be received by everyone, just because he did have the dominant win, but he also had the 2 really, really bad moves in the next seasons he played, between giving you the idol and then he left the idol at camp and Game Changers, and he got voted out that night.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you leave nowadays? How do you leave the idol at Tribal? You're that comfortable, or you leave your idol? That's insane.
Yeah, so I don't know. It depends how much value is given to it depends how much value is put into his dominant win in his first season versus 2 bad moves in the next 2, compared to Spencer not winning, but Spencer also playing really solid 2 times.
Yeah. I wonder what they do in the rule if someone leaves their idol at camp and you go through their bag and find it. Because they're not there anymore. You can't steal someone's idol, but once they get eliminated from the game, I wonder if they can take it then. Because I asked, one of my questions was, if I put an idol to where someone actually could find it, if I put it there where they could find it, because I had some kind of crazy plan in mind, is it still my idol? They said no. If you hide it and they find it, it's their idol.
That's crazy.
If it's in your possession, so if you see somebody digging something up and they hide an idol, you go dig it up, it's your idol. But if you can't go through their bags and take it, like I can hang it on a tree and it's mine. Nobody can take it. I'm like, that's my idol, period, and walk away. But they can't take it and burn it or none of that stuff. It's my property.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have, let's see, JT and Laura. JT wins that one. We have Sari and Fair Play. Now, that's a tough one because Fair Play's super popular. He made maybe one of the biggest moves in reality TV history by saying his grandmother was dead, but he went against Sari. Does Fair Play beat JT?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. Does Fair Play beat Malcolm or Spencer?
That's tough. That's a close one. That's tough.
Maybe Spencer. Maybe close with Spencer, but not Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, so. if we're talking about bad draws in this whole thing, Fair Play's got to be up there with, because I think Sari has a legit. I mean, I think Sari will probably make the final 8 in this bracket, possibly.
Yeah.
If she could upset Sandra in that, which I think is entirely possible, because Sari is one of the most popular players ever to play the game.
Right. And now we have Sari against JT.
Right. I think Sari will take that one.
I think that may be one of the biggest percentages. I think she takes it.
She'll clean up there.
Yeah, I think she'll take it.
Right. All right. So now we have Fair Play. He's out already. First round. Sorry, Fair Play, but can't do nothing for you. We have Richard Hatch and Fabio. You don't have a chance.
There's no chance. I mean, basically somebody who was regarded as a bottom tier winner against somebody who essentially is one of the original survivors, first winner, invented the concept of alliances. So I saw Richard winning this one easily.
Right.
84-16 was the percentage there.
Yeah.
All right. What was that?
It was
Oh,
80.
Okay, that was 3 seed Richard against 14 seed
Right.
Fabio. He didn't even come. So next here we have, this was another, I think he had a terrible draw. Rob C against Ethan.
Yeah.
With the upcoming episodes of Ethan, if Ethan wasn't playing this season, Rob takes that easily.
I think so.
Well, you have two people who right now they're both, I mean, they're both very popular because obviously Rob has his podcast that a lot of people listen to, especially like the diehard Survivor fans. And then you have Ethan, who's one of the most beloved survivors all time, and he's on the edge right now. So both are just very recent people. Bad draw for Rob C. I thought he had a chance to, make a run in this bracket, and he goes down with in a poll that had 2,986 votes. He went down 50. Ethan got 52% to Rob's 48.
That's so close. I think if Rob goes up against another winner like Vesepia or Nick, I think Rob makes it to the next round. It's such a tough draw.
Yeah.
He was one retweet away from winning that. If he retweeted the podcast, he would have won.
I was waiting for him to.
I'm actually surprised he didn't retweet it. He
was
interacts
super
a lot.
Close. Yeah, he was. I think that he thought that he didn't want to. Almost like I'm doing. You make it fair. It's not fair because it's my Twitter. If he retweets it, he wins. Rob wins that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he wins them all with a retweet. He just wins this one with a retweet. Because he was super, I think it wasn't it pretty tight?
Yeah, 52 to 48.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, one retweet away.
I think Rob could have made it easily looking at this matchup. I think Rob could have made it maybe to the Elite Eight just because not only does he have a good following, but he's one of the best players to never win. So I think Rob can make Elite Eight if he.
Oh, yeah. Rob gets past this one, then he has it. So that's a bad matchup because he's beaten Nick, he's beaten Sophie, he's beaten Yule, and he's beaten Sepia.
Yeah.
In my mind. So now we have Rob. Ethan takes it, 11th seed, beats a 6th seed. A little upset right there. Now we have a number 7 seed, Nick, against it. Very interesting because they're in the game together about the same at this point. I think Sophie's playing a good game, but number 7, Nick, against number 10, Sophie. And we have Sophie coming out on top on that one. What was the percentages there?
There was 2,549 votes, and Sophie won handedly, 66 to 34. I'm sure much in part to the edits this season. Wow.
Definitely. Sophie's coming up. Right. Sophie has one of the most favorable edits. She might be one of the front runners of the season, and Nick is coming off maybe the worst edit I've ever seen, looking like a creeper in the background of everyone's conversation.
Right. What if this season isn't happening? Who wins that, Nick or Sophie?
I think Nick easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Nick is a pretty.
How people get.
I think Nick's a pretty solid winner, and he may. I think a lot of people. I know he played recently, but I think a lot of people aren't taking that into account because of the results this season so far.
All right. So in that little bracket above it is number 3 Richard Hatch against number 11 Ethan. Is that a upset for Richard Hatch?
See, I think Richard might take it. I think a lot of people wanted to see Richard on this season because everyone wants to see the first winner play against all the other winners. And I think that he still has a pretty decent following on social media and whatnot. And also on YouTube, he makes videos and whatnot. So I think that even though Ethan's still on the edge and he's popular, I think Rich could take this.
I think Richard takes it, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty close in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have Yule versus Vesepia. She didn't have a shot.
95 to 5 was the voting on that one.
She would have not even made the list if she wouldn't have won.
Right.
She made the list because we put all the winners on the list, so she had to be there. It was what, 95 to 5? Is that the worst one?
It's tied.
Oh, that's the worst.
Ironic. It's tied. It's tied for the worst one. Ironically, the next matchup in the next region, Tony against Chris Underwood was also 95 to 5. So Tony and Yule tied for biggest wins in their matchups.
Okay, so
That's
but the
ironic.
next round is Sophie and Yule. Sophie's playing a good game, and we're seeing right now that this season is making people vote a certain way. So Sophie played a better game than Yule. Does Sophie take out the number 2 seed, Yule?
I don't think so. I think Yule is still beloved by so many people that he'll pull it out, even though
You
Sophie's
think-
having a really good game.
I
think so.
actually think, depending on this next episode, she's kicking butt again. I think Sophie can take this.
I think it's going to be really dependent on this episode because Sophie was so dominant at the merge episode. If she continues her dominance and keeps rolling through the game, taking out big threats, like if she takes out another big guy this week, I think she wins this matchup. I think if she is seen as the big target and gets blindsided, I think Yule wins.
Yeah, because she's the reason that Wendell went home.
Yeah.
Like she took control of that.
So like you saw last episode that Wendell like brought up like I think he said something like Sophie's like playing this season, and then Wendell gets voted out, which is obviously really good for her. Do you think that like that's a conversation between others right now? Like, are they starting to realize that Sophie is a huge threat? You think?
I don't think so. I think that now at this point they're worried about Denise when they should be worried about Sophie. And I would have thought that they can be worried about Kim, but they're not because Kim's just not playing. I think Kim done checked out. I think that she's not going to play at this point, and that's crazy to me. I thought she had one of the most dominant games in Survivor history, and now she's so disciplined.
She still has an idol, so she could still pull a big move.
She does. But what if she goes home with an idol in her pocket?
I don't think Kim does that. There's no way.
We said there was no way that she would play like this.
True.
I mean, everybody's like, oh, she is solid. She's not a threat now. I mean, you said that you think she's going to go home this episode, which would be very interesting if she does to me, because she would be going home with an idol in her pocket.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but
I don't think so.
We'll see. So now, I think that Jeremy's in trouble. I think because he won that challenge, he tries to convince people to do things that they never do. He thinks he's in control, which I said this with Libby. I do a Libby Monday, which is nice because I get to look at Libby all for about an hour and a half. But anyway, we talked about this for a little while, and Jeremy, he flipped when he feels in trouble. When he's in trouble, he bails on his alliance. He's gone. But there comes a time, because I went to the merge 8 before in Foa. None of us bailed. We stayed strong and we fought through it. We got away to the end of the game. There comes a time when you have to fight, for your alliance, and you have to do. He has a walk away, so he can do something. He can make a move somewhere with that. He has a tool to work with, and they're just not doing it. They're not using their tools other than Denise to get further in the game. And what Jeremy does is when he finds out, okay, my plan's not going to work, he bails on his alliance and he votes with the majority, which it's a strategic. I mean, I understand the move. It's just not the way I play. I fight for my alliance. I give him my idols. Can he give the advantage away? I mean, can he give it to the one that he thinks is going to go home? And then all of a sudden, the whole game turns on its head because he gets out a threat that's coming after him and it puts him in control. I mean, there's other ways to get to the end of the game than to keep flipping on your alliance.
Yeah. I actually was going to ask you coming into this podcast, now that he has that advantage to walk away from tribal, do you think he's going to use it this episode because he was on the wrong side of the vote, or do you think he tries to save it for later in the game?
I think he tries to save it because I think he thinks he's just fine. He's okay.
You think he thinks
and if he loses, I think he thinks he's fine. If he loses this next immunity challenge, we're going to hear his name. My prediction was Jeremy goes home. And if I'm right, I'll be shocked that I'm right. But I wanted a long shot prediction. I'd have no clue who's going home. So if I'm right, I did not know. I'm just saying that I predict him going home because he won his first individual immunity. if he wins another one, he's definitely going home the first time he loses, because they're going to start worrying. This guy make a run. We have to take him out while we can. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then he's a strategic player too. So he's super likable. So he's a threat, a super big threat to get to the end of the game.
Yeah, and we were talking about on our podcast after last week's episode how Jeremy kind of has a weird advantage, because if he uses that, he can't vote. So it's kind of like he has to use it.
Can he give it away? Can he give it away?
I think he could. I don't see why.
I'm not sure. I mean, as long as it doesn't say on the bottom of the parchment that this is not transferable, as long as it doesn't say that, I think he can give it away. We just don't know.
Right. Yeah. So I think that he can give it away, and if he can, then that comes to my point. Like, man, Wendell was your boy. You knew he was going home. You voted for him. Why didn't you just give him that walkout? He walks out. Then y'all take control a little bit of the game. Then all of a sudden you got something on your resume. Now I know that everybody's saying, oh, when you get something on your resume like Denise has, all of a sudden you're a threat. But if a bunch of people keep, if you start making big moves, like you said, Wendell said she's playing a winner's game. That means Wendell's not playing any game. That's why Wendell's not in the game any longer. Are you saying because they're playing a winner's game that let's get rid of them? They're playing the game. That's what he's saying. They're actually playing to win. So we don't want anybody in the final three that's playing to win. We just want people there that just got there. So when he said that they're playing a winner's game, or she's playing a winner's game, I was like, and what are you playing? So I didn't like that. And I think that Jeremy could be in trouble. This is the first time I said he could be in trouble, and he's one of my top players, because it is the right. Sometimes it's the right thing to do to flip. Sometimes it's the right. I mean, you're trying to stay in the game. The best thing for me to do the third time I played was to flip on my alliance. Production even told me. Production were like, well, "What are you doing? You can save yourself." Quote. That's what they said. You can save yourself, Russell. What are you doing? And I said, I don't play like that. I'm going to try to fight for my alliance because I need them further in the game. I need those votes. Those votes I know is not going to flip on me, so I can be more comfortable in the game. So I'm fighting for them to stay in the game. And we tried to get that, I guess it was a cop or something, to flip with us, and it was super close. We thought we had her for a second there, but she didn't. And so I fight to try to stay further. Now, Jeremy's not fighting with his alliance to get further in the game. So what happens is he gets weaker and weaker. Every time someone goes home, that was his boy. That was his Denise almost went home. That was his girl. Then he voted for Denise. So now does Denise really trust him? Hell no, she doesn't. He just put her name down. So she knows this man's playing to win. He will vote for me anytime to get out of this game. So she knows that now. So he don't have her any longer, and he doesn't have Wendell because Wendell got voted out. So I'm not agreeing with the way he's playing strategically, and I think it's about to bite him in the butt.
Yeah,
but that's how they play. That's how they play these days. Nobody has anybody's back anymore.
And I mean, with the editing that we've seen this season, like, things are just changing left and right, like out of nowhere. So I all it takes is one episode for somebody to sky up in terms of power. So you never know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we have number 8, Sierra against number 9, Joe. I thought it was a pretty good matchup. What was the numbers on that one?
There was 2,880 votes, and Joe beat Sierra. So that was an upset because he was a 9 seed. 54 to 46.
Okay, so it's pretty close. She probably could have won with a retweet. Come on, survivors. This is serious. Jeff is seeing this. CBS is seeing this. You want to win. And that would have brought her to the next round. I think she could have won with a retweet. But Joe's tough, though. Joe's popular. Tough one. Yeah. But Joe's about to get stomped by Tony, number 1 seed against number 9 seed, Tony and Joe. I think because of the way Tony's playing the game right now, he's going to take a pretty good run in this.
Yeah, Tony's playing. We talked about this on our podcast. Tony's playing such an amazing game right now. The fact that coming into the season of winners, the biggest targets on the board are, Rob and Sandra, Parvati, and Tony. And Tony, someone actually tweeted this. It's been 10 episodes and Tony hasn't gotten a single vote against him. There's been no votes against him, which is, I think, unheard of for him. So he's playing so well.
The game ended, I said this on my podcast with Libby. If the game ends right now, I'm like, who wins? And it's out of two people to me. If it ended right now, we had it, and Jeff said, you pick one person right now, it would be out of Adam, because Adam's been on the bottom and fighting his way through every time, getting his way through the game. It's out of three people, actually. Adam, Denise, and Tony. And I think that it would be, when you talking about all the winners sitting on the jury, I think they're going to take it in a huge consideration that we thought first out was going to be Rob. We thought second out was going to be Tony.
And
I don't really agree.
Oh, really?
I told the guys this. So yeah, we did think that Tony would be a really early vote out, but could you say that he's playing a good game in any way? He's trying to fly under the radar.
Well, this is what I say. As an aggressive player already, me and Tony probably have really more than anybody in the history of the game. Our games are probably closer than anybody else's.
Agreed.
So if I went out there to play, for me to sit there and I'm watching him and I'm watching him say, I ain't looking for idols. I'm sitting right here. Now, for me to go out there and do that, to sit there and say, I'm sitting right here around camp. I'm not doing anything but helping around, firewood and everything else. I'm not getting out of anybody's sight, and I'm not going to strategically play this game. Do you know how hard that would be for me to do?
Very hard.
So that is a hell of a strategic play for someone that's so strategic to sit down and sit back and just watch. It's not easy. It would be super hard for me to do. That's why I think that Rob's an overrated player. That's why you couldn't see Rob do that. Rob can never do that. Rob goes out there, he plays super aggressive always. If he played again, Rob would do the exact same thing, that aggressive. Tony, he just completely changed gears. And now we'll almost see Tony. If you never seen Tony play before, then I'd understand what you're saying. If you this was the first time you've ever seen, they were all new players, you'd be like, nah, he don't deserve to win. But because of how good we know he is, it makes it impressive watching him do what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do hear you, and I think that it's very impressive that he hasn't even received a vote yet. But I just think in the context of this season, we are playing with absolute beasts, and every single person is trying to strategically fly under the radar. They're trying to make moves behind the scenes.
Right.
So I think that whoever pulls this out is going to be someone that has at least one big move on the resume. And I think at this point, because he hasn't had that distinguishing factor, that I don't think he would be able to win.
But
so
I think
when you say that it's strategically on the radar, that's exactly what we're seeing with a lot of people. So maybe we're just seeing Kim do that as well. I would just like to hear her say it. I want to hear her say it to us. Say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I ain't playing. I'm a super big threat. I am strategically not playing strategically. That's my plan to go under the radar. And when I need to make a big move, when it's a final 7 or final 6, I'll make that move. But right now, I'm in a good spot. If they would say it, I'd be like, okay, I understand. Tony said it. So we don't see Kim saying, I'm strategically playing on the radar. We don't see Nick saying that. I think Nick freaks out this next episode. We see Adam fighting to stay in the game, episode after episode. So what were you going to say?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, you basically just said what I was going to say, where I think that Tony is saying in confessionals, because the one thing is that whatever we don't see on camera, like we can speculate and we could do he said, she said, whatever. But if it's in confessionals, they're not lying to us in confessionals. Tony has said, I'm playing under the radar. I'm dialing down my game so I cannot be seen as a threat, and I will strike when the time is right. And like Russell just said, this is his final 11. He still has time at final 5, 6, or 7 to make a big move, and that's his one move, and then he'll win because he can say, I revamped my game. I was under the radar, and I had to change my whole strategy, and I deserve to win. So I think Tony still has time to make that one big move. And I think even if he doesn't, Jordan, I think he will still win because let's just say Parvati walks up to the jury and says, okay, here's my question, Tony. Why do you deserve to win over somebody that played flashier? Because you're a flashy player. You weren't flashy. And Tony will say, if I was flashy, I'd be out day one. Like I had to change my game. And I think he'll get respect either way.
All right, let me ask you this. If he was sitting next to Adam, Sophie, or Denise, do you think he would win if he was next to any of those people?
Yes, I think
I wouldn't vote. At this point, I wouldn't vote for him. At this point, I would vote for Adam because he had the harder road to get to where, like I said, it was over right now. The reason I'd vote for Adam is because he's just had a hard road and he's still in the game. So, yes, he's made some stupid moves trying to align with Rob, but that was a strategic play. I would have thought Rob would have been like, I'm with you, man. Let's stab her in the back. I don't care. Because we all know Rob to be a backstabber. But he didn't do that. Rob was like, I'm fighting for my alliance. All of a sudden, Rob's an honorable player. So it made Adam look bad. So,
well, what I was saying is that there's still a lot of game left. So Tony could probably stick out like a couple more votes by flying under the radar. But he's gonna hit there's a ton of game left. He's gonna hit a point where he has to make a big move. Otherwise, like people are still gonna, even though he's hit his threat level, there's gonna hit a point. Like if he's still in at the final 6, they're gonna say Tony's a threat. Like that's gonna happen eventually. So I think that if he does get to the end, he's gonna have at least one big move on his resume.
So what if he doesn't? Does he get credit for being the biggest target, and all of a sudden he's sitting at the end with this group of people? Does he get credit for that?
I mean, I think he does, but again, it depends. Whether he actually wins, it would depend on who he's sitting next to.
Okay, real quick before we move on, Denise, Sophie, Tony, or Adam, who wins the game right now if it's over? Everybody tell me their pick. Like, who do you vote for if it's over right now?
Who do I vote for right now?
Yeah.
And the choices are Denise, Sophie, Tony, and Adam. Based on what I'm seeing in the show, I agree with both of you guys. I think that Tony would need to do more at the present moment to get the votes, but I think he will do it. If I had to vote right now, I think that, Denise or Sophie. I feel like Denise just made a big move against Sandra. That's got a lot of respect.
I definitely can see Denise winning too.
I think
but
so.
I would say my vote would be for Adam only because I like the underdog, and the underdog is just kicking and squirming, staying in the game. How about you two?
I would say Denise or Sophie. I don't really know which one I would choose yet because obviously Denise has made a flashier move than Sophie, but Sophie may have made a move that was more important. So I think that's
what I'm talking about. Adam right there, that comment right there. I think that Adam can convince him. I think that's what would put Adam over the top with that group of people because he'd be like, "Gosh, y'all wanted me out the whole time." Yeah, she made one big move. I've been make big moves from day one. Y'all wanted me out day one. And he would be right. So I think it would be really close to their strategic, like what they're saying. Okay, you can literally win this season by your speech. Depending on how good their speech were, or how bad it was. I think it would come to that.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
So Russell, I agree with you. I'm between Adam and Denise, and I think I value Denise's big idol play higher than Adam's being able to slip from being at the bottom. And right. I think Denise would have a pretty compelling argument at the final tribal council as well.
For sure. Yeah.
She is sitting there and she's been saying it all season that she's not one of these big threat targets, but she has been playing a really strong under the radar strategic game.
If it was me and I knew the situation and they do, if I was Adam, I'd say, yes, she made a move that didn't work. She used two idols that move, and she voted for her alliance that voted for her. So she didn't even know what was going on when she got rid of the queen.
Yeah.
So I would, he could easily twist it and be like, yeah, you think that was a big move? Let me break it down, that move. It was so big that she didn't even know what was going on. So I would try to try to make it, but when I say that, people get mad at me, so they don't want to vote for me. When I start saying, oh yeah, I'm the reason you're sitting there, you have to respect that. They don't respect that. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one here. And we have Wendell and Brad Culpepper. Wendell takes this. Wendell was 5th seed. Brad Culpepper was 12th. Wendell takes this. How big does he take it?
Out of 2,483 votes, it was 66-34. Pretty much what I expected.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. So we'll move on a little bit. We're already in this an hour. So Amanda against Stephen Fishback.
So she took it very similarly, 65-35.
This was C4 against C13. Fishback was 13.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about next round, Amanda versus Wendell, I think that's going to be a close matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Amanda and Wendell. Really, you think that Amanda's going to hang with Wendell?
I think she could. She's very popular, and I don't know what Wendell's status is with fans after the season right now. So, but I also think that Amanda got to the end twice, so I do have to give her credit for that, even though she never won.
Yeah, no. At this point in time, the 3 times I played, the 3 times Amanda played, we are the only 2 survivors with the best percentage chance. The best percentage to get to the end of the game. Me and Amanda.
That's true.
Now, if Tony makes it to the end, or if Michelle makes it to the end, she played twice and went to the end twice. So it could get beat easily this season. But still, me and Amanda are the only 2 with the best percentages to get to the end. So Amanda is no slouch. That girl can play the game. She was 100% in control of what happened when I got to Heroes versus Villains. The reason she got voted out was because of us, not because of her own. She was in control of hers, she was in control of all of them on her side. I can't even think. Rupert,
JT,
Kobe, JT. Yeah, she was in control of all that. And it makes sense because look at him. She was definitely, she voted out her own. She voted out James. That was a huge mistake for her. JT, they wanted a race, right? I talked to James after that. I'm like, James, why did you race him? Let me tell you about James for a little while, just a second. James was the number 1 draft pick out of Louisiana. I've been knowing James for a while. I heard of him. He was from Lafayette. I used to run clubs there. He used to be my bouncer on and off. I didn't know him as a best friend at that point, but we've been in fights breaking out in the club where me and James were literally back to back, trying to calm everything down. But James was the number 1 athlete number 1 guy to get drafted coming out of Louisiana, the number 1 athlete in the nation, and Kevin Falk was number 2. I don't know if y'all remember Kevin Falk.
Yeah.
But he stayed in the NFL for a little while. So James is an athlete. So when they said run, but he had a messed up knee, I said, James, why didn't you say, no, after we run, then we're going to wrestle. And then it's like, because it's not all about speed on these challenges. Sometimes you got to pull things and push things. So I said, why didn't you wrestle him and throw him on his face? Say, okay, you want to run? Okay, I'll race you. After that's over, we're going to wrestle. And then we'll see where we stand then. Because he was like, man, I should have did that. I would have slammed JT on his noggin. It wouldn't have even been funny. So what we got? Okay, Todd and Mike. Todd, number 3 seed against Mike, number 14 seed.
So Todd took it 63% to 37%.
Okay. So Todd takes it pretty good. I could see that happening. Todd's number 3 seed. We'll move on. Aubrey, number 16 against Ben, number 11 seed. Now, I would have thought that would have been an upset.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought
it looks like an upset right now, but it's 6 against 8. Because Aubrey, the number 6 seed, beats Ben.
Yeah, 62-38. So
All right.
she won by a little bit. Decent amount.
They say just call coach. Don't worry, I'm waiting. He just texted me he was at dinner with his family. So we have plenty of time right now. When it's over, I'm going to call him regardless. So now we have number 3 seed Todd against Aubrey, number 6 seed. What's going to happen there?
I think Todd takes that. I think, Aubrey played more recently, and Aubrey's a pretty good player, but I think Todd going 1-for-1 with his win, having one of the best final tribals of all time. That speech to John Robert was classic. I think that Todd is seen as a really good strategic player. I think if Todd came back, he would do really well as well. So I think Todd takes this one.
Okay. So Todd takes it. She's pretty popular, but I don't think she beats Todd. All right. Number 7 seed, Ozzy against number 10, Adam.
So he demolished Adam 77-23.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he'd have if I was going to say before they voted, I would say he'd have a small shot. I thought it would be, maybe a retweet, but I don't think a retweet it even beat Ozzy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to be interesting is next round. So right after that, you had Jeremy who beat Natalie White 85-15. So Jeremy now Jeremy moves on to play Ozzy in the next round.
Oh, what's going to happen there?
I think Jeremy wins.
Really?
I think so.
So Ozzy goes an overwhelming winner though against Adam.
Yeah, I personally think Jeremy should easily take it, but I don't know if he will based on what we saw in the first round with Ozzy also winning by a ton.
Yeah. Okay. So next round we have Boston Rob 1 seed against Stephanie LaGrossa, the 16th seed, and Rob took it pretty easily, or what?
Yeah, 90% to 10%, pretty much what you
okay.
Yeah.
All right. After that, we have Cochran and David. Is it David White? And Cochran wins 8 seed against 9 seed. 8 seed Cochran wins. Now we have Boston Rob against Cochran. Does Cochran have a shot?
I don't think he does.
There were some people on Twitter saying that Rob is an overrated player, and admittedly, they have a compelling argument on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did a whole YouTube video on it. I think so too. I mean, when do we see Rob change his game? When have we seen Rob play different? He played 5 times, guys. He's never played once different. When he was supposed to play different, right here, supposed to kind of tone it down like Tony's doing it. We'll call it Tonying it down. You need to Tony it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do that. He can't play like that. Rob cannot play. Even when he's like, I'm watching these secret scenes. He's like, hey, everybody get out. The tide's coming up. Everybody get out. I'm like, calm down, dude. Like, you don't have to control everything. That's what I would tell him if I was out there. He thinks he's got to control every single thing. Y'all can go ahead and talk. I need to plug this thing in before my laptop dies.
All right.
Do you guys want to move on to Tom versus Tommy?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was interesting to have. So looking at Cochran, he did get 79-21 over David, right? So I mean, like, even though he's not going to beat Boston Rob, he's one of the most popular players ever to play. So did have a huge first win, first round win. And even though I don't think he has a chance, it should be interesting to see the voting percentage. But yes, next we have number 5, Tom, versus number 12, Tommy. And Tom absolutely blew out Tommy.
I'm not surprised.
84% to 16%. And given that Tom is one of the most likable winners of all time, and Tommy just came from won one of the most disliked seasons of all time, I'm not surprised that it was 84-16 was the final percentages there.
Yeah, no, Tom Westman is one of the best old school winners of all time. He's a really solid player. I mean, Tommy is a good player, great winner as well, but I just think Tom Westman is such a big name for the old school era of Survivor, kind of somebody who can come back even today and probably still do pretty well because he's just so good physically and socially, and he's so likable. So I think Tom was going to win that matchup. I'm really curious to see how he does against Kelly Wentworth, though. That's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, Kelly Wentworth. She played against Amber, so that was a 4-13. She beat Amber 72% to 28%. But look, there's no doubt that Kelly Wentworth is going to have her hands full with Tom next round. I'm picking Tom in that one.
So?
Yeah, I'm picking Tom in that one.
Kelly in that one.
I know.
No.
I would be fine with either one winning. I think Tom is going to win. I'm not saying I necessarily think that Tom that one is better than. I think Tom is going to end up winning, but I would not be surprised to see Kelly win either.
I hope it's Kelly. Russell, let me ask you this. There were a lot of people in the comments talking about how Wentworth should not be a 4 seed, how she's so overrated because, I mean, she never won. She played 3 times and never even made it to the end. But in my opinion, if she were to win that final immunity challenge, I think that she would have won handedly and had the most dominant performance ever, maybe. Do you think that she deserves to be as high as a 4?
She would have won hands down, and it would have been one of the most dominant in history. It'd been like she was in trouble, man. She had 8 votes. 8 votes voted against her that season. And she beat my record, and I had the most votes voted against me at one tribal council. And you have all these smart, great players, and they don't split the vote still.
Russell, to this day, I still cannot believe that alliance did not split the votes between Kelly and Sierra or against Abby. I'm still floored to this day they didn't do that.
Great minds, and they're like, oh, no, like Dave Ball. Oh, let's not worry about that right now. He didn't find nothing. Let's not even worry about that. Let's just all vote for him. You get your mind it gets in weird places. That's why you see people like Tyson. When I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Parvati, I knew that it would make his mind think, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Because we want as many votes as we can get to her because my name is going to be in there. That's how a great player thinks.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but back to Kelly. I would not. I'm picking Tom, but I don't think I think that Kelly could easily win. Like I'm a huge supporter of Kelly Wentworth. I think that like Jordan said, like if she wins that season, if she wins if she wins one challenge at the end there, she's considered one of the best winners ever. So yeah, I mean, I do think that she got the credit she deserves in this bracket.
Okay, we have Sarah against Eris. That was an easy win. Was that an easy win or?
Yeah, 79 to 21.
Sarah?
79 to 21.
I'm a 3 Sarah against 14.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's not much to talk about there. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So now we have Denise against Rupert. Number 6 Denise against number 11 Rupert. And Denise takes that. That's right. That's a nice little matchup right there. We got Sarah and Denise.
This is the matchup I'm the most excited for this week because I think because Russell, I watch all of your breaking down each performance after each episode, and I think you're right. Sarah played a really strong game to win, but she's been kind of quiet this season, and Denise has been flashier. But on the other hand, I think that Sarah played a more dominant game to win her own season. So I'm really excited to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, because Sarah played a more dominant win the winter season, but Denise didn't. But now Denise is playing a more dominant over Sarah. I think Denise is going to take it. I think she's getting a following like Sophie is at this point.
I think it's close.
I mean, she just beat Rupert, guys. She beat Rupert.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sarah holds on, but I'm going to say it's going to be a close vote, like 53-47, 55-45. I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we have Jerry against James. Big Jerry against Big James.
So Jerry had 56% of the vote, and James had 44%. That was kind of close.
Russell, if your guy James retweeted it, he would have won.
James don't have Twitter, man. He don't play like that. He seems like the kind that doesn't. He's like, I don't have no dang Twitter.
Yeah.
Telling him I'm calling him regardless in 5.
Okay.
Probably like, what you want to call for? So now we have Tyson and Chris Daltrey.
In tied, he won 93-7, which was
Attaboy.
aside from Tony and Ewell, that was the next best percentage of a win.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now we have Jerry against Tyson. Tyson going to take her easy.
Yeah.
All day.
I mean,
Yep.
But then it's going to get to fun, like Sarah and Denise, Jeremy and Tyson. Whoever wins that goes to the next round. Then I think it's going to be Tyson and Denise. And Tyson's going to take that.
yeah. I mean, Tyson just came back in the game, so Tyson is doing really well right now in the show. He didn't even have his name brought up at the merge, Russell. I mean, he comes back into the game. He's such a big player, and he dials it back immediately, and his name isn't even thrown out at the merge. So I think Tyson could go pretty far in this game unless, something changes this week and his name comes up. So we'll see.
See, and that's another thing right there. We're watching, and he said it too. So we're watching not playing the game be a strategic move. And that's what we see Tyson do at this point, because he didn't even, he was the one they should have voted out, but we didn't even see that. It shows, guys, these are great players, and it shows when you go in there and you just kind of lay low, then when the game doesn't start till the boots hit the beach. It doesn't matter what's going on the phones at home most of the time. So if you go in there and you just all of a sudden, and he ain't doing much, he ain't talk to me. Did he talk to you? He ain't talk to me. Well, let's go ahead and slide on it for a little while and get rid of this person that's talking to everybody. Yep. I don't know. It's going to be super. If I ever play again, it's going to be super interesting to see if that strategy works and if I can actually do it. Because when I went to go play the game, whatever that game you call in Survivor in Australia, I probably did the best I've ever did in any time, any place for the first 5 days I was there. At the first 3 days, I didn't do nothing. I was just kind of laying low. Even though I found an idol without a clue, again, I was still laying low. But then when I knew I was in trouble, when I knew that I had no hope, because they said none of us like Americans anyway, once that went down, I was like, oh, no. I'm not rolling over like that. So I gather them all together, and I show them the idol. I said, just letting you guys know I ain't going home. One of you are going home. So I'm going to play this idol. I'm going to go sit on the beach because now you have to fight. Now one of you have to fight for each other because there had to be a line that was drawn. And then by me saying I had the idol, I drew the line in the sand, and I got on the side of that I was home. I was safe. So somebody else has to stab somebody else in the back. I was just way too easy of a vote. Every American loves Donald Trump. And I don't even talk about none of that stuff on my show. But that's what it was. They were better. Their coffee's better. Their donuts are better. They're a better country. So it was. I'm not American. So they wanted me gone. That was why they wanted to vote me off. And it's
That's
crazy.
not cool.
Before I call Coach, let me tell you, and I'm gonna talk about this story with Libby, but I wanted to talk to these guys. What happened out there? They had a guy that was playing there that was a soldier for the Australian Army, and he got his legs blown off while he was fighting for his country, Australia. Now, you know the challenge where you joust? You get on the thing and they joust?
Yeah.
They took this boy's legs off and they placed him down and they were beating on him with a joust. This boy that fought for their country. I was like, dude, I almost started crying. It was like watching a bully beat down someone. I was like, what are y'all doing? I was like, I stopped it. And I hollered out, you can't do that. I was like, that guy fought for your country. He lost his legs for you. And you're beating down on him? And they were like, well, what would you do? I would shake his hand and I would step off the platform. That's what I would do. Because that means more to me than this game. Because we're different. We think different as Americans. We love our country. We love our soldiers. We salute our soldiers. That's what we know. That's what we love. So watching them beat up this dude like that, I could not take it. Couldn't take it.
That's
And finally they stopped, and they made him stop. They made him get off. Okay, that's it. Let's not do this no more. But he was just and dude, this dude, he's a special force guy. He was tough, and he was working it to stay. They were on there beating on him for 2 minutes before I said anything. He was staying in the, trying to stay in the middle. They had a girl that just came off of it. She kept hitting the ground, hitting the thing with her knees. When she came off, and her knees were all so bloody and scraped up. This guy has a problem taking a piss at night. I watched him struggle every night to get out of the bed to take a piss. And then now they're going to put him on this wooden platform where this girl that has 2 legs is all bleedy. Now we're going to all he can do is put on them prosthetics on his knees. It's now going to be all bleedy, all cut up. I couldn't. Yeah, I'm pretty passionate about that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more when I do one and put up there. This is what Australians do to their military. They didn't even show that when they aired it because it made them look so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I couldn't take that. And then the crazy thing is they were saying, Russell, you wouldn't, no way you would step off. That's what people think of me, because they think, they see and they hear, oh, he has a bad social game, he's a bad player, he's a bad person. So that's what they think in their mind when they meet me. So they're on that other side saying, no way you would do something like that. Well, I would shock the world, because I sure would. And if any one of my teammates would do that, I would tell them to get off, stop doing that to him. I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. I wish it would have been me against somebody like that, because I wouldn't have done it to their people. I wouldn't have done it. I would have respected him as a soldier, fighting for his country. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done that. No way. Just not that type of person. I'm out there to play a game, not to beat up someone that has no legs and that fought for his country. So they knew it too. That's why they never aired it. And that's why they stopped the challenge after I said it. It was great TV. If they would have put in what I said and put in all that, but it made them look too bad, so they couldn't do it. They couldn't make it look good for themselves. So anyway, just want to talk a little bit about that. I was talking to someone about that the other day, and I wanted to bring it up. So I'm going to bring that up again, though. Hear it again. Let's see what we got here. Got my phone in my little board here. I never did this before. Let's make a dummy call real quick to Boo from Fiji. He'll answer. Okay. He hung up on me. Did y'all hear it?
He hates you.
Can y'all hear it ringing?
I hear it.
He went to New Orleans today, full suited, like a dummy, just to take pictures, with a mask on, the suit on. I'm like, he wanted me to go with him and do a podcast on it. I'm like, dude, you know how reamed I'd get if I'd head off to New Orleans? You have reached. Okay, he's not answering. Let's call Coach. Come on, answer. It's pretty cool how this board does this.
Yeah.
We need one of those.
Right? It's only like $600.
Easy money.
I mean, it does everything. I'm recording. I could be recording the podcast. Trying to look for somebody else. Why isn't he answering? He's probably nervous now. Deep poverty, they said. This is Boo. Trying to get somebody to answer. He said he was eating with his family 30 minutes. To give me 30 minutes when we started this. We're an hour and 30 minutes into it. Yeah, so I'll show y'all right now, Boo, that he sent me while he was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street.
Oh, wow.
That's that dummy right there.
Wow.
And that's on a Friday night, Saturday night. This is him, little video. Oh shit!
Wow.
Bourbon Street,
Empty.
March the 3rd. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
12:31 a.m. in Bourbon Street. Pretty scary stuff. Nuts.
It's scary stuff.
Yeah, and he wanted me to go out there with him. Like he just went out there all the way to New Orleans just to make that little video.
Yeah.
He's like, when are you gonna ever be able to go to Bourbon Street? Nobody's there. Like, well, dude, you can catch that Rona.
You don't go for Bourbon Street to be empty.
No, but he does. He's weird. He's weird. Like he's a lot. What y'all seen with Boo and Fiji is not who he really is. Like he would even tell you what he did was, if I can get him, we'd talk about it a little bit. Or Coach comes on. But what he did was, tell him trying.
We got people saying call Shambo.
She would be pissed if I did that to her. Most of these people would be pissed if I did that to them out the blue. Like if I called, because I'll read down my call list. My call list right here. Probably somebody's gonna pause that, but it says Boo, Coach, Rodney, Survivor, Kelly, Survivor, Libby, Survivor, Suri, Sierra. That's my last call list of my last 10 calls.
It's an all-star list.
Right. I think they're on the bracket. But I do have a show that I try to get people to talk on my show, so that's mostly why I have to call these people. I called Kelly because she works in a company. We'll just say call back. She works in a company that promotes different things and has partnerships, and I'm trying to get them to sponsor the show.
Oh, cool.
Okay, we'll see his real personality.
Hey, I thought you were a girl trying to call me on the caller block.
Oh, you thought? Oh, yeah, my phone's blocked. That might be why Coach ain't answering. But yeah, you're live right now on the Russell Hance Show. How you doing today?
Oh, pretty good.
So
Pretty good.
We're with 4 other people. Another podcast, the Survivor podcast, and we're live. Everybody can see everybody, but you're on the phone. And I just showed them pictures of you in Bourbon Street trying to get the Rona.
You can't put that out there. That's personal, private information.
Hundreds of thousands of people are going to hear it now.
Backlash. I had to go sanitize the streets. I got hired by the NOPD.
The NOPD. So I was telling them that when you played Survivor, they only know you as you can almost say politically safe in the Survivor world of conversations, and just the good old boy that's trying to make an interview sound professional instead of any kind of character whatsoever.
Right. I had two personalities in the game, and one was myself, which was in the game, the live game, and they loved that. They even told me when I got to the interviews where I was trying to be professional, they said, "Man, you're such a live character in game. Why do you just disappear in the interviews? We need that same passion that you have in the game in your interviews." And I didn't get it. I didn't understand why or what. I was just trying to I was cutting up and having fun and just walking around and being myself in the normal day-to-day activity. When I got in front of the camera for to talk bad about people, also I wanted to articulate. I knew, people from the South, we sound ignorant because we don't articulate our words.
Right.
I wanted to articulate and enunciate, and I wanted to be a good person and not say mean things about
Do
people.
you think you deserve a second
that was the
chance?
wrong thing to do.
Boo, do you think
Don't do it.
listen, do you think you deserve a second chance?
I do, and there's two separate reasons I think I deserve a second chance. One is I was the greatest one-season challenge person ever.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people focus on a person that has individual immunity, and that's great. But I also carried a team through all victories except for one, where Jeff said, "I can't believe y'all chose girls and y'all let them choose all guys. Y'all will never win one challenge." Jeff said that himself. Y'all will never win. Well, you know what? We won every challenge but one, and I was the common denominator to win all of those challenges.
Okay.
So that's one reason, because I'm a super challenge guy. And then the other reason is they understand that I have gameplay. They didn't edit it because it didn't work for me. I was robbed in the sense that one of our girls quit. So, nobody else had to have 19 people on a season and have all 19 people together for 3 days and develop a relationship. And all of a sudden, all of your relationships are gone. That's like a tribal twist, but it's right at the beginning. So every relationship I made was gone. So I was just running on the fly, and I still made it all the way to.
So what's interesting to me, and a lot of people don't know this, we're going to let them know right now, is you are the reason that I got on the show. You're the reason that James got on the show. That's two-time fan favorite James. You put together the video. You put together my video. Two-time fan favorite Russell Hantz. Another extremely positive, two more personalities. Colton, nobody knows that you got him on the show, but you did. He had a crazy personality. You knew what it took for him to get on the show, even though he's a loser and he's a quitter. And also Shannon, which was first out, but also a huge personality. Shannon could have been a superstar if he would have stayed longer on his show.
If he would have listened to me.
So you have all these great characters, and you, when Boo did the video with me, guys, he's the one that said, "Let's do it this way. Let's do this. Let's say this. Let's go this route." When James
did I say something about that first video we made?
Yeah.
For you? Okay, so I'll start from the very beginning. It's not going to be too long, but they called me, and it's funny because Brandon Hance was living with me at that time.
All right, that's
and he
weird.
said, "Man, why don't you get me on the show? Get me on the show." I said, "Brandon, they don't even talk to me anymore. I already gotten James on." I said, "Look, I'm going to call this girl. I'm going to show you that they don't even talk to me." Well, I call, I leave a message. Okay, nothing. I don't get a response. Well, 2 days later, you don't tell me this is a coincidence. 2 days later, I get a call from Erica Shea saying, "Hey, remember that guy Russell Hantz that you did a video for Kid Nation, his two girls, and then Pirate Master?" I said, "Yeah." And Russell had been calling me periodically, not periodically.
So when we did the video and sent it to him, how long a period? Because I was wondering what that was. How long a period did we send it to him that they actually called me?
After the first video for Pirate Master?
Yeah.
2 years.
Oh, okay. So guys, I tried out for this show called Pirate Masters. It was canceled mid-season that Mark Burnett has. That's what he's talking about. And then also they had a show called Kid Nation that we was trying to get my twin daughters on. That I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was a pretty good show. All right, go ahead.
It was. So he was looking. This was right before Heroes and Villains was coming up. Nobody knew about it. He's like, "Yeah, we need a villain type." And I remember he was talking about he would stab his own mom in the back to win the millions.
I said, "I don't care. My mama's there. I'm stabbing her in the back."
Yeah, you were acting like you were going to be a pirate.
Yeah.
That's what pirates do. So anyway, you played that up, and she remembered that, and she looked for that type. And it's not that she couldn't have had a clue. You would have been such a great villain.
Right. No way.
Lo and behold, she looks great.
But no, remember we also said, Boo told me, okay, this is when this went down, you were like, well, they're going to have a season 20 and it's going to be heroes versus villains. This was during 19 when I was playing 19. So, you could play back to back. I remember us talking about that.
Because James did it. James
Right.
was back to back.
And
it
remember,
was just coincidence. And it happened.
remember when I told you,
real quick to finish that point.
okay,
I made a video for Russell, and I only had like a camera, like a handheld real camera, no editing. And Russell drove in from Houston. I left work. I was a bar back. I went left.
hey, still there?
I said, Russell, you got to get through at least 2.5, 3 minutes. This is what you're going to say. And it happens with every person. You do it and piss the person off. I piss Russell and say, what the hell, man? I'm not going to do that. I was like, Russell, that's the fucking fire I need. That's what I need right there. Sorry for the person. I said, I need you to be that person. Just talk to me. After 100 takes, Russell Hands got his first video that got him on to the final 50. And then, of course, they wanted
He kept doing it over and over, and he started pissing me off, basically.
Oh, yeah. You got pissed. Because I could tell. You're looking at the camera, and it's not just you, it's everyone. It's not natural to be in front of a camera.
Right.
So you just go. And I can see it. I can see that's not the Russell I know. That's not my friend that I'm talking with and cutting up. That's not what they're going to want to see. They want to see the guy that I know. So I had to keep pushing. You finally got it right, and then you were pissed off, so you didn't care about the camera. You just started talking to me at that point. But I had the camera rolling, and you got it out, and that happens with everybody.
It was hard for me, guys. When I finally got there, I was talking to Boo every day, and I remember calling you, Boo, saying, "I can't do this anymore. They want me to be funny." You was like, "Oh, come up with stories. Come up with stories." I was like, "Man, this is stressing me out. Like I'm trying to make it on the show at this point, and they wanted me to be funny. They came in my room and they said, Russell, you're too aggressive. You need to be, you're a family man. Go ahead, be a family man and be funnier." And Boo was like, I called him and I was like, I don't think they like me. Remember when it said Mark and Jeff? I just did Mark and Jeff. They don't like me. Huh?
It's done. I said,
You're breaking up. Nobody heard nothing.
Said he hated you.
I said he hated me. Yeah. I said Mark and
I said, calm down. That happens all the time. I said, what's going on? And you said they want me to be funny. And I said, dude, we talked about stories that we could tell. Pull one of the stories out of you. Pull one of your tricks out of your bag and tell that in the big interview. This was the big CBS Survivor interview with all the big executives. You remember? I didn't remember.
Oh no, that was the big one.
You want to tell them?
No, you can tell them.
Remember? Okay, so I thought it was hilarious, and just to show you how polarizing this event was. Anybody can see it. Anybody can tell it, and you can understand how awesome it was. So, yeah, you have these handlers, and Russell had this pretty little handler girl that we used to play this joke, and she was about to let him in. She said, "All right, you're waiting for the last person to go in, then you come out, and then you'll go in." Well, Russell's like, "Well, give me a kiss on the cheek for good luck." He used to do this in college all the time, and they go to give you a little peck on the cheek because that's innocent. And he turns and gives a big smack on the lip.
I don't know that.
The door flies open, and he's cracking up, and the girl's cracking up. And he walks in there like, What's going on? What's so funny? You're about to be in the biggest interview of your life. He's like, "I just made out with your little."
Yeah, I told him I made out with her. I told him I made out with their girl, their casting agent. Just made out with her just now, and they said, "I'll take it from here." And then they said, "No, you didn't." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm talking about I'm in front of all executive producers. This probably wouldn't work these days. So guys, don't go and kiss up on girls that you don't know. I happen to know her pretty well. I've seen her every single day. I've seen her 7-8 times a day. She'd come in and out my room. We were friends. And when you can do that, this kind of thing. So I'm just saying, don't do anything inappropriate. Anyway, when we go in the main building, they said, "No, you didn't." And I said, "Yeah, I just made out with her." I was saying I made out with her. "Yeah, just now." And I said, "I know why y'all want me on the show." They said, "Well, why is that?" And I said, "Because I'm the good-looking guy. You always need the good-looking guy on the show. So that's why you have me, And that's what I just did. I made out with a pretty girl outside. When they said, okay, let's, be honest. And I was like, bring her in here. Call her in here. So they get her to come to the front of the stage where I was at. And I said, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Now I need a yes or a no. That's all I want. You understand that? Like, all I want you to tell me is yes and no. And I said, did we just kiss out? She said, well, I said, no, yes or no. Did we just kiss on the lips outside? She said, yes. I said, you're excused. So they were like, dang. I said, I tell you. That's why you want me here, because I'm the pretty boy.
Right there, lighten the mood up. It made you more comfortable. It made them crack up. If they were more comfortable. They didn't see this horrible person.
Yeah.
Too hard, too aggressive.
No, they said I was too hard at first, and they would have. I think that it would have went down that path if that wouldn't have been a more funnier, because they sort of asked me. Mark Burnett himself said, "Oh, this season is going to be a bunch of gay cowboys and you." I was like, "Oh, is that the season? Bunch of 19 gay cowboys and Russell Hand." So he wanted to see my reaction to that, and he didn't get what he wanted. Then he said, "So, do you like Jews?" Like the questions were crazy, and I said, "Wow." No, the guy that asked me said, "Do you like Jews?" And I said, "Wow, you a Jew?" And then everybody in there started laughing because they all were Jews, CBS. And I said, "Of course I love Jews. I happen to be a Christian, and Jesus is a Jew, and I love Jews. So why wouldn't I like Jews?" So someone told me after that, they said, the reason you were super aggressive at first, but when you started saying stuff like that, they were like, well, he's likable too. So that's how I got on the show.
Wait, did you forget a really funny one?
Yeah, I didn't know if I want to say that one.
About I'll tell it. So a person that looked like you was in there at the exact same time. Asked him, well, what do you think about homosexuals?
Yeah, they'd ask me all these questions.
Wrong. I wouldn't want to raise my son that way.
I stuck to my grounds.
Yeah, I don't believe in it, and that's great.
Right.
And they said, well, what do you think about two girls?
What do you think about lesbians? They said.
That's beautiful.
I said, I love it. So first they said, what do you think about homosexuality? I said, well, I come from a religious family, and I think marriage is between a man and a woman. And then they said, well, what do you think about lesbians? I said, I think it's great. And they said, how can you think one is wrong, and how can you think one is right? I said, well, I didn't say it was right. I just said it just seems so right. And then they were like, so that was basically my interview. After that, I knew I had it. When I walked out of there that time, I knew I had it. But do you remember me telling you that I was going to be the biggest thing that Survivor ever had, even better than James?
Yes, we always say that.
And I always say that.
Look, this is after James, the great freaking grave digger James, probably top 10 in anybody's poll. Grave digger James, top 10, both fan favorites, first time, two times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Russell's like, I'm gonna be bigger than him. I said, Russell, I mean, you might be big.
No, you were fighting it too. You were like, no way.
That's ridiculous. That's like a high school kid saying I'm gonna be better than Brett Favre or Peyton Manning. I mean, so who's gonna believe that?
That's like a walk-on student going to Arkansas, saying he walks on Arkansas and then plays for the NFL, and that happened. Anybody know the name? Anybody know the name? Offensive lineman? Anybody?
Don't.
Arkansas walk-on, the greatest walk-on in the history of walk-ons.
Rudy.
No, not Rudy. And then he got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, and then he dies in a car crash before they even sign him. Oh, I know.
It sounds like Glenn Bias, just like basketball.
No, it's a lineman. He was a lineman. He wore glasses. I forgot his name's.
He died?
He died in a car crash before he signed the paperwork with the Indianapolis Colts. He was a walk-on for Arkansas. Anybody in the chat room? They have an award named after him. He played with Houston Nutt in Brandon Burr's World. Brandon Ham. Burr's World.
Oh, never heard of.
Yeah, you need to check it out. Watch some clips on him. He's pretty amazing. Anyway, so yeah, I became more popular than James. So I was like the walk-on that all of a sudden became amazing.
Well, you're the Mount Rushmore. You're on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, some people say
nobody can deny it. I mean, to me, Mount Rushmore is you, Rob, Rudy, Tie-Dye, Rupert,
right,
and Barbara. That's my top.
All right, Boo. I think you should get another shot. I'm gonna let you go because I got to call Coach.
All right, guys.
I think you should get another shot.
I'll make you proud.
Put Boo back in the game.
Nice
I think that she could be good. All right, later. So that was Boo. He definitely could play again. The reason I think he could play again so well is because he understood what happened when he played and it didn't work out for him. So when he did videos for people, he knows what they want. He knows what they wanted. So he implemented what he would do in the video, and he constantly got player after player after player on the show. So that's part of my Patreon group, by the way, guys, getting with Boo and getting a video together. I'm just saying, really want a good video, me and Boo, we take care of that. We get it done on the Patreon page, but you got to read between the fine lines, see which one you want to do. So I'm going to try to call Coach one more time.
Hey, this is Coach Benway.
Now he turned his phone off.
Get back to you ASAP. Thanks.
He blocked you.
Guys. He blocked me. He got his phone turned off now. I guess but he probably knows this is going on and was like, hell no, I'm turning my phone off. Somebody probably let him know. But anyway, that is sorry that we couldn't get Coach on the phone. We said we was going to. Don't know what to say. He blocked me. But that is our Ultimate Survivor bracket. We will be on again to talk about the next round once it finishes. And I'm excited about it. I like seeing what these people think. That's why I stepped out of the bracket, because I don't want to see it tainted in any way. And I think it's just better that way to see it pure. It's way more pure that way. And that's exciting. I like it.
Exciting stuff, man.
It's really exciting.
Lots of good matchups coming up this round. So excited to see what happens.
All right. So you guys keep watching. Go check out my it's on Twitter at Russell Hance or the at Soul Survivor podcast. Come check it out. Follow us so you can check out what's going on. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe. You guys, you just go. You don't do YouTubes, or you just do. You just do podcasts.
We do. So we do. We do podcasts, but we're live streaming on YouTube after the episode tomorrow and each Wednesday night. So Soul Survivor podcast on YouTube as well. Subscribe.
Oh yeah, go subscribe them to their podcast. You could check out their stuff, and then you put it on podcast.
Yeah,
on iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I got to get with y'all. I'm having trouble with my podcast with iTunes, man. I'm not on the list no more. Like, and I pay my fee and all that. Like, I pay this.
Oh no.
Or what's going on? But I gotta check it out.
Yep.
But anyway, we appreciate everybody for watching. Sorry we couldn't get Coach on. He messed me up.
Yep,
he
thank
ain't
you,
even responding now.
Yeah,
thank you, Russell.
Oh, no problem, man.
Shout out the Russell Hance Show. Shout out Soul Survivor podcast, and shout out the orb in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, check out my Patreon page down there if you want the Russell Hance shirts. I got the shirts in the link, or you can see them right there below. And don't forget, Libby and I are going to start doing more and more together. Nothing inappropriate, sorry to say. But yes, we're going to start doing more podcasts and talks and YouTube stuff together. So check out our Mondays with Libby. That's fun. And that's it, guys. We appreciate you watching.
Thanks.
Live.
Thank you.